I've been waiting for the 15-inch MacBook Air for years. See, back in the day, Apple used to sell 15-inch laptops that cost less than $2,500. Almost 2 decades ago, I had a 15-inch PowerBook G4 and eventually got a 15-inch MacBook Pro shortly after the Mac lineup transitioned to Intel chips in 2006. At the time, I thought that the 15-inch laptop offered the best combo of portability and power. It was both big enough and powerful enough to be my only computer, while also being something I could tote around fairly easily. But in 2016, when Apple unveiled the disappointing MacBook Pro revision with the touch bar and terrible butterfly keyboard, the price jumped to $2,300. Now, the 16-inch MacBook Pro starts at a whopping $2,500. It's an extremely capable computer, but I just don't need that kind of horsepower, and I can't justify shelling out that much money. While the MacBook Pro was getting steadily out of reach for normal people, though, the MacBook Air became the default Mac for most buyers. And with good reason. For years now, it's been thin, light, and powerful enough for the majority of people, something that's doubly true since the switch to Apple Silicon in 2020. Despite that, I've still missed having a larger MacBook that was at least semi-affordable. So this new 15-inch MacBook Air, it checks just about every box for me. For starters, it starts at $1299. By far the least expensive Mac with this screen size Apple has sold in years, and probably ever. The model we reviewed cost $1699 with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. Not quite as cheap, but still $300 less than the 14-inch MacBook Pro. The M2 chip, meanwhile, has more than enough power for everything that I need to do. Videographers and people doing intense image editing will probably want to opt for a MacBook Pro with a more powerful M2 Pro or Max chip, but so far it has met every need I have, including editing some fairly large RAW photos in Lightroom. And as with other M-series laptops, the new Air's battery lasts all day and then some. Obviously, cranking up the screen brightness or doing more intensive work can drain it quicker, but I could easily get through a full day of work and have plenty of juice left for some casual couch browsing afterwards. Apple also nailed the crucial basics, including a reliable keyboard, a giant trackpad, and of course, a large, lovely screen. The MacBook Air's display lacks some of the niceties you get on a MacBook Pro. Most specifically, it has a pedestrian 60Hz refresh rate, and it's not quite as pixel dense. But Apple has been cranking out these so-called Liquid Retina LCD panels for years now, and they're reliably bright and crisp, despite the fact that they're definitely not the most advanced displays at this point. Finally, the 15-inch Air keeps the extreme portability of its smaller sibling. Granted, it's impossible to make a 15-inch laptop that isn't noticeably wider and deeper than a smaller computer, but the Air is so thin, less than half an inch thick, that it manages to feel significantly more portable than, say, the 16-inch MacBook Pro. That computer is 2/3 of an inch thick and weighs in at 4.7 pounds. The Air, on the other hand, weighs only 3.3 pounds. This all leads to a package that feels much lighter and smaller than I'd expect given its expansive screen. This all adds up to one of my favorite Macs I've used in years. I wager most people will still opt to save some cash and get the 13-inch model, as that size computer has become the default choice over the last 10 years, thanks in large part to the Air's success. But for those of us who want a screen that's just a little bigger without breaking the bank, the 15-inch Air is an ideal choice. It's not the most technologically advanced laptop with its year-old M2 processor, but there's something to be said for a utilitarian device that just does everything right. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned to Engadget for more news, reviews, and in-depth videos.